Shalom, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor, which is due unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kadash. Okay, double honors to the bishops, elders, the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Brimstone. Okay, talking this truth and lead the flock by example. And shalom to the Lord's elect. Okay, start with 144,000. And yeah, man, I'm gonna get straight into it. You know, news and prophecy. Iran. You see what's going on over there in the Middle East, and you know, things are carrying on, heating up. The Strait of Hormuz is still pretty much bleeding out the oil prices. Okay, I went to fill the tank just now. I'm on my way to camp, and you know, the price of oil over here had gone up by, from what I remember it being recently, about 15 pence a litre extra, you know. So as they're going through their reserves, that's obviously going to go up higher and higher with this conflict, man. And you know, Trump's turned around and said basically people have got to deal with it, you know. They've got to deal with it. It's war. And remember, they even changed the name of that department to what? The Department of War. Okay, so we're in a time, World War III is here. Okay, the nukes just haven't flown yet. And the reason it hasn't escalated to that point with the ICBM nuclear missiles being shot at America, which is prophecy, is because we're waiting on a major prophecy to come to pass. And by seeing the events that are unfolding, we know how close it is too. Alright? Which is the mark of the beast prophecy in Revelation the 13th chapter, around about the 16th verse on down. Okay, which talks about a mark, okay, that this devil is going to cause all to take. Alright? The people on the earth are going to be deceived, and they're going to take this mark. The majority of the people are going to take this mark. Okay, and they're going to be destroyed for that. Now, the elect aren't going to take the mark of the beast. And by the way, the mark of the beast is the RFID, the implantable microchip. That's what that is. Okay? And without it, in this system, you ain't going to be able to buy or sell. Okay, you ain't gonna be able to buy food from the supermarket store. You ain't gonna be able to, you know, transact. Okay, because everything's gonna be digital currency. Now, having said that, you know, we're coming into times where that's close. So when you're reading scriptures like in Romans it says, what's that? I believe that's 15 and 4, if I'm not mistaken. It says that the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, and that we, through the patience and the comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. Roughly paraphrasing. Okay. And I was reading 1 Kings the 17th chapter yesterday, and I was reading about how Elijah was being looked after. Okay, during a famine. Okay, ravens were coming and feeding him. He was getting water. Okay, and he also went to a widow and her son, and you know, through a miracle through the Lord, the oil kept replenishing and didn't run out. So, you know, these are signs and miracles when the Lord looks after He's chosen. Okay, and it ain't no different today. It tells you in Isaiah the 65th chapter, that my servant shall eat, my servant shall drink. Okay. But it says to the others that they're not going to eat, they're not going to drink. Okay? And that's another thing in the scriptures. A lot of people are going to die by a famine. Okay? By the hunger. Alright? Those that don't buy, you know, ain't going to get killed by the sword. They're going to die by that famine. That hunger. Alright? Esau's really going to start to put a squeeze on this place. Now, obviously you can have some places that are going to do better than others. But that's why you have Jacob's trouble in the scriptures. It's gonna get real, it's gonna get real dirty out here, man. Real cutthroat. And you know, these current events in Iran, the scriptures talk about the Carmenians coming in their wrath. You know, 2nd Ezra, I think that's the 15th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Right? They're gonna be shooting missiles at America too. Okay? They're gonna be bleeding out America too, as well as a lot of different other nations. You know, Ezekiel the 30th chapter, one of the nations that Russia is guarding, chief prince, okay, is Persia. What's Iran? That's Persia. Modern day Iran is Persia. So they're being a guard onto them. So this can escalate to a point. You start putting ground troops and things like that, it can start to escalate. Now we know that the chip has to come first before the nukes. But hey, things are escalating, man, and it's having an impact on the GCC. It's having an impact on globally because of the, what is it, like 20% of the oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, I believe. So based on the research I've looked into, so that's a major impact on the world, man. You got war all over the world, right? India's at war with, Pakistan's at war with India and Afghanistan. You got African nations fighting. You got the war in Ukraine, that ain't stopped. You hardly hear about that, but that ain't stopped though. Okay, you got the war for the South China Sea. Okay, you got South American nations, and you got presidents getting basically kidnapped. There's a lot going on, man. All right, and it did say in Revelation, the 6th chapter, the 4th verse, that the red horse, which represents Esau, his elites, that they were going to take peace from the earth, and that's all they do. So we're not in a time of peace yet. We're in a time of war, and it will continue to be like that until Yahushua returns and establishes the kingdom of heaven upon the earth, man. That's when the Prince of Peace, when he really comes to establish that. As it says in Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, there's going to be war no more. There's going to be peace. And that's the time that we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to Yahushua coming and saving us out of this imminent destruction, man. This World War III, you know. But yeah, just, I just wanted to do a quick hit, just discussing what's going on. You got this new leader in Iran, okay, and he's coming hard, man. He ain't backing down. So we're gonna see how things develop, through the spirit and power of Yahushua, we'll see, man. And feel through the scriptures and keep doing these lessons. But yeah, man, quick one. Hopefully that was edifying. With that, man, I'm gonna say shalom to the Lord's elect.